Welcome to the Business of Dance podcast, where you'll learn what it takes to create your dream professional dance career.
Join us as we dive into the insights and experiences of the world's top dance industry professionals, including dancers, choreographers, agents, casting directors, educators, and other dance industry experts.
We explore a diverse range of topics, from personal development and mental skills to audition techniques, creating meaningful industry connections, social media marketing, seeking out dance agents and casting opportunities, on-the-job etiquette, talent unions, pitching to the media, health, finances, and so much more.
Here is your host, Menina Fortunato.
I'm really excited to introduce our guest today. In his early years, he started off as a professional dancer. He worked with a lot of big-name Canadian artists like Shawn Desman, Maestro Fresh, Nelly Furtado. He also danced in the Juno Awards, the MMVAs, and So You Think You Can Dance Canada. Later, after spending many years in Canada, he branched out into the U.S. market, where he worked with Mariah Carey, Mary J. Blige, Missy Elliott, Kellis, Mario, and many others. He has been in the industry for over 30 years, and he shifted his passion into choreography and movement direction. He has been collaborated on a number of films and TV shows, anything from a series of unfortunate events, Disney's The Descendants, The Magician, and he recently choreographed the 2025 Juno Awards for Aquila, if I'm saying that correctly, and Shawn Desman's latest video, Body, and he's currently working on his Back to Life nationwide tour. Without further ado, from Ontario in Canada, please help me welcome Mark Samuels. Welcome.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, I want to know the backstory because I don't. How did you even get started in dance? What did that look like? Where did your dance training begin? Take us back.
Okay. I would say between the ages of like 7 and 10, I saw breakdancing for the first time and absolutely fell in love with it. I was kind of captivated by how the body could sort of move and do all these cool sort of floor tricks and stuff like that. So when I was really, really young, me and my friends in my apartment building that I used to live in, we used to try to mimic breakdancing. And so we would go outside the side of our apartment building, and there would be like a big open space of concrete. And I don't know if there are any breakdancers here, but in order to breakdance like on concrete, you would need a cardboard. You need like a big cardboard box. So we'd get big cardboard boxes, open them up, and like pretty much breakdance, like do different moves on the cardboard box. So that was like super duper early Mark days. That was like the first sort of thing that I loved in terms of dance, was to breakdance. I grew up in the 80s, and in the 80s, I don't know if all of you are familiar, but there were no phones. There was no internet, or there was barely internet. There was no Google. There was no YouTube. And in order for us to dance, there were no studios. Like there were no dance studios in my area, like none at all.
Really? Where did you grow up? What part of?
So I grew up in Toronto, Ontario, and there were dance studios, but they were downtown Toronto, and I never lived downtown. To learn how to dance back in those days, we had to watch TV, pretty much. And we watched a TV station called MuchMusic. Pretty much the equivalent of what you guys of MTV.
Have you of Canada?
Right.
Same channel.
Isn't that crazy? So, have you ever watched MTV? Anybody here ever watched MTV before? Yeah. Okay. So, same sort of thing. Back in those days, in order to sort of watch your favorite artists, in order to watch music videos, you would watch MTV, or what we would call MuchMusic. We'd get to watch our favorite artists, but we didn't get to, like, you'd watch it and that was it. So the only way for you to get to continue to watch it was to record. Yes, I see Manita's pressing it. To record these TV shows. And I'm going to ask you guys something. I'm actually going to show you something too. Do you know what this is? Does anybody know what this is? Yeah, it kind of looks like this on the other side. Yes, Sophia.
Isn't it a VHS tape?
Yes, it is. You're absolutely right. So I have hundreds of these, and this is what we would record music videos on. So how you guys would watch music videos today on your phone, on like YouTube, we would have to watch it on TV and record it onto this.
Live. You actually have to live record it. You can't just pretend like it'll record later. You have to actually watch it in real time and then press record.
Right. And press record to watch it. So I say that to say a lot of my favorite music videos that had dancers in it, that had choreography in it, I had to record. And what I would do is tape the music video and then rewatch it back. And my VCR, which is the machine that you would put this in, my VCR didn't have slow-mo. So it only had stop, play, pause, fast forward, rewind, like the basics. So in order for me to learn how to dance, I would like pause each frame by frame. So like I would wait for the dancers to come onto the screen, and then right when they would come on, I'd press pause and I would see their first move and it would be like 1. Okay, so their hands are here by their head. And then I'd rewind it again, wait for 1, and press pause after so I can get their second move. So it'd be like 1, it'd be like 1, 2. And then I'd put it together like, okay, so they went here and then they went 2. And I would learn how to dance, put together an entire sequence of choreography or what was on that music video. That's how I would learn. I would learn it step by step, like press pause on every single move, which is wild. Like now I think about it, like would anybody ever do that nowadays? So that's pretty much how I learned how to.
So you were self-taught essentially in there.
Yeah, I was self-taught. And the crazy thing is too, is that back then we didn't understand the concept of mirroring. So what I was watching on TV, you know, when you watch like something on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, you're actually seeing it the opposite way, right? So I didn't understand that. So what I would do is I would pretend I was in the actual video and stand side by side to my TV. And that's how I would learn it the correct way.
Backwards. So you learned it backwards, essentially.
I originally learned stuff backwards, but then exactly. I ended up learning it backwards. So I'd put myself side by the TV and like do all the moves. So
that's awesome.
Pretty silly.
I'm just laughing because it sounds so prehistoric for these kids. I'm sure if their parents are listening in, they're probably laughing.
They would know. Yeah.
Because I did the same thing. I used to record like Star Search. I don't know if you remember that show. And
I do.
MuchMusic. And I'd have also same like archives of VHS, and I would learn. Even my father would order like instructional videos like Frank Hatchett and Doug Caldwell, and I would literally take like jazz dance classes from VHS. But these kids have no idea.
Wow. Yeah. So it's consider yourselves lucky because we had to learn sort of the hard way.
Prehistoric, I guess.
Yeah, really prehistoric, you know? So yeah, that's pretty much how I learned how to dance. I didn't have a teacher. I eventually met a choreographer after, and he was part of a group. We can get to that later if we want.
Well, like at what point you're dancing for fun and all self-taught, but at what point did you actually realize this was a real gift and a passion that you wanted to pursue professionally? I'm feeling like there's a story behind this choreographer that you met that got you maybe recruited to a group. Is that what's coming next?
Well, yeah. Yeah. So when I was about 18 or 19, I had already started to dance in my neighborhood and just sort of do local talent shows and community shows. And then I ended up going to high school with a choreographer. His name is Luther Brown. He's known here in Canada. He's also known here in America as well. And he's now blown up. He's done a ton of stuff. But Luther and myself went to high school together. And
I know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
We went to high school together. So he started a group called Do Dat Dance Agency. And it's spelled DODAT, Do Dat. Do Dat at one point had about like 40 members. So it's a really, really, really big dance troupe. And it was we were kind of like we didn't perform like them, but think of like the Jabberwockies, but just a big group of, dancers. And we would perform all around Toronto, opening for different concerts. And as we would perform for these concerts, we would open up for really big recording artists, people that you probably might have heard of. But as we were open for these artists, what was really interesting is in the audience would be managers and directors and producers. And when we were finished, like finish our performances, they would come up to us and say, "Oh my gosh, we'd love to have, your dancers come and perform for our live show, or come and be in our music videos, and come and, dance for us, da 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 da." And so Luther would take groups of us and say, "Okay, you 4 guys dance for this artist, you 3 girls dance for this artist." And we sort of became an agency, but also a dance group at the same time. And that's how we started to get bigger and bigger in Toronto, and just started to get noticed as dancers in our city.
So at this point, were you getting paid professionally as a dancer when you're a part of this crew, or was this still the early stage of just doing performances?
So we were getting paid. We were getting paid really low, to be completely honest with you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
The $50 gigs that all the Canadian artists are with. Yeah, I did a few.
Yeah. We started at like $50. I remember going on tour with this artist who paid us $50 a show. Like, pretty wild to hear these days. We danced for him. It was me and another guy, my best friend. And we danced for him for about 2 years. He's actually literally the biggest hip hop Canadian artist back in the day. His name is Maestro Fresh West, and he's in the Hall of Fame. So before there was Drake, and before there was like The Weeknd and Tory Lanez and all of these incredible like Canadian rap artists, there was this guy. And we toured with him. And in our second year, we ended up getting a raise, and our raise was like $25. So we got like $75 a show eventually, which nowadays is pretty wild, right?
Yeah, of course.
So,
you can't even eat off of that. At what point did you because I know Luther ended up leaving Toronto. So is that when the group kind of dissolved, or did it stick around for a while, and then did you kind of start doing your own thing?
So no, the group did dissolve after Luther left. Luther was such a big influence here in Toronto that once he sort of left to live in LA, nobody wanted to fill his shoes. And nor did he really sort of give anybody, the sort of seal of approval to be like, "Okay, you can run Do That while I'm gone," sort of thing. He just sort of left and pursued his own dreams. And it was definitely a confusing moment for a lot of us. A lot of us were heartbroken because he didn't really say why he left. I mean, we knew why he left, but he didn't, there was no plans to take the group any further. And so we were all sort of left alone. And we all ended up just started teaching classes in Toronto. But what was really interesting about that is that we were left on our own to teach. We started building individual names for ourselves. And then people started, noticing us, not just as dancers, but as choreographers. And we started, I would say, attracting more work that way, without Luther being there. But the group itself sort of stopped, and we didn't perform that much anymore, which was really sad. But we did actually we did get to perform in New York. We performed in LA at a show called Choreographers Carnival. Have you ever heard of that? Have you heard of that? Yeah. So it was a pretty big show. So we eventually sort of did our own thing and find our own sort of path in the industry. And what was really interesting about that is once we started to make our names as choreographers, I ended up meeting who I would say potentially probably saved my life and really kept me in this industry. His name is Paul Becker. I don't know if you got a chance to speak with him, but
he's been a guest for us as well.
Yeah. So Paul Becker, who is a TV and film choreographer, sort of director, and like guru of Canada when it comes to TV and film choreography, he noticed me and pretty much took me under his wing. And then the rest was sort of history. I did a ton of things with him, which we can get into after.
So you assisted him as a choreographer and also was on camera as a dancer, or mainly at the choreography team?
Mainly on the choreography team. There was a few jobs that I did as a dancer as well, and he would hire other assistants depending on what the job was called. Yeah, what it was and what it called for. But when it came to anything that was sort of hip hop related, he would ask me to assist him. And so I assisted him for maybe, I would say anywhere from like 7 to 9 years.
Oh, wow. That's a
long time.
You guys did a lot of projects. Was it mainly when every time he was in Toronto, you would work with him, or did he take you to other cities too?
No, it was mainly in Vancouver. Mainly in Vancouver.
When were you in Vancouver?
When was I in Vancouver?
Yeah, what years?
Oh, geez.
Remember?
Yeah, I do. I would say
that must have been during Descendants, right?
This was even before Descendants. So 2016, 2015, 2016. But yes, I was hired on as one of the choreographers for the Descendants.
And this was number one? Or
this is, yes, part one.
Okay, when Kenny Ortega, I think, was directing, right?
Yes. Okay.
Wow, that's so funny. We crossed paths. We were so close and didn't meet because I literally moved to Vancouver or back to Vancouver in 2016.
Really?
Around the same time.
Yeah.
But I never auditioned for the Descendants.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. What?
No, I never auditioned for it.
No, you should have.
I don't know if I was in town when there was auditions, and I didn't have a Vancouver agent yet. I was still with MSA. But yeah, I don't remember exactly. It was so long ago, but I do remember lots of my friends did it and past clients. I think, wasn't Taya Wild a part of the first one as well?
Yes, Taya Wild, but Megan Trainor.
Yes. I've judged with her.
Yes.
Taya's an old client of mine, but we also have done so many gigs together, and I hire her. She's been a guest here as well.
Is she? Yeah, she's fantastic. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
So are you all familiar with the Descendants?
I'm sure they all know Disney Descendants.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
I would be surprised if they didn't.
So we got, what was interesting is we got them like Dove and Cameron and Boo Boo and Sophia and Mitchell when they first started out. So they were just literally like very, very new to dance. Except for Sophia and Cameron. Cameron and Sophia were like already incredible dancers. Dove was like brand new. Mitchell couldn't dance for the life of him. Poor guy. So sweet though. He's a sweetheart. Such a sweet guy. And then Boo Boo kind of shocked everybody. He ended up learning how to dance like a little bit before. He took classes before he knew he was going to shoot this movie, and then ended up surprising us as being one of like, the stronger ones, we would say.
Amazing.
Kinda. Yeah.
I love that. Now, I read in your bio that you transitioned at some point into the U.S. I also read in my notes, there's a story with Mariah Carey. Do you want to go into that?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So, oh boy, this story can take long. So I'm going to go as short as I can on this one. I'll cut it down as quickly as I can, but yeah, give me a 5-minute warning. If it's too long, let me know. I'll chop it down. But in 1997, long time ago.
Okay.
Way back when, again, no cell phones, no internet, no Google, no nothing. I saw a music video that came on TV, and it was Mo Money, Mo Problems, Notorious B.I.G. I thought it was like the greatest video in the world. It was so modern, and it had dancers, and they were killing it, and I loved it. Here we are in Toronto, Canada, and I wanted to be a part of something like that so badly. And so I'm like, how am I going to get to be a part of that? And little did people know I used to DJ on the side. So on the record, on the label of the record, there would be the address of the record label as well as the phone number. And this leads to some incredible things. I ended up calling the number on that record to try to get a hold of somebody who could tell me how I can get a hold of these, like the dancers and the choreographer. So I called the number for like 6 months. Nobody responds. Nobody answers. And then one afternoon, I was like, you know what, let me just try again. And then I called and somebody answers. And I was like, and she was like, can I help you? And I was like, can somebody tell me how to get, in touch with the dancers and the choreographer from this music video, Mo Money, Mo Problems? Like the weirdest thing ever. She must have been like,
So random.
This guy? What is he doing? This is so random. But she comes back saying, yes, I can give you the production company. It's called Big Dog Films. I'll give you their number. You can call them. So I get the number. I call them, same sort of thing. I don't hear from them for this. This was like weeks, not months, but weeks. And then finally somebody answers. I say, hey, can I, do you know if there's a way I could get a hold of blah, 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 the dancers and the choreographer? And then she goes, you have a pen and paper? I was like, yep. She goes, okay, so the choreographer's name is Hi-Hat. Her number is 818, da-da-da-da-da. She starts giving me the number. Then she goes, there's 8 dancers here. Do you want them all? I was like, sure. She's like, okay, there's this person, this person, this person. Their number is this, 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 this. So she's giving me all of their information. I'm freaking out because I'm like, oh my goodness, she's giving me their phone numbers. So I get off the phone. I'm freaking out because I have their phone numbers. And there's a name on there that is kind of written really cool. And the guy's name is Showtime. I was like, let me try this guy Showtime. And so I call him and I'm thinking he's not going to answer. And then all of a sudden he answers and he's like, hello. And I'm like, hello. And then he goes, who's this? And I'm like, it's Mark. And then he goes, and then I realized in that moment that I had no plan, nothing to say. Like I didn't know what to say to him. So this was my response. I go, you don't know me. My name is Mark. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I part of a group called Do Dat. And I just wanted to know if there's a way, how we could dance in the music video, More Money, More, like videos like that, like More Money, More Problems. Like I must have sounded like the biggest idiot over the phone, like so weird. So he goes, oh, okay. And then he goes, how did you say you get this number again? And then I said, well, the film company, Big Dog Films, gave it to me because you did More Money, More Problems, right? He's like, yeah. He goes, okay. He's like, I'm kind of busy right now, but can I call you back? And in my head, I was like, sure, no problem. We hang up the phone. I'm like, I'm never going to hear from this guy again. He's like, who's this stranger calling me? And then hours later, he calls back. He literally calls back. And I tell him the whole deal. Again, I kind of break everything down to him. He tells me about himself. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, thank you for calling me back. I really appreciate it. This goes on for a year. I talked to this guy for a year. During that year, he asked me to send him a demo so he can see who I am and he can see my dance group. So I send him a demo of Do That, my group.
The VHS, we're still in VHS?
Yeah. Literally sent him this. I swear on my life, hopefully he still has it. But I sent him this. And it was of Luther's choreography. And it was me and 3 guys. So I sent it to him. He got it. I was like, hey, did you get it? He's like, yeah, I got it. I'm like, what'd you think? He goes, it was all right.
Oh,
I was like just the driest reaction ever. It was so bad. And so I just let it go. And I was like, okay, cool. And then fast forward like maybe 6 months after, okay, I get a random call from him. This is where everything changes. He goes, hey, what's up, man? I'm like, hey, what's up, Showtime? He goes, can you get to New York in 2 days? My answer was like, yep, I can get there. Yep, I can get there. And He goes, okay, can you bring your friend with you too? The guy with the dreads. This was my best friend. His name is Greg. He's like, he goes, the one in the video. I was like, yes, I could bring him too. And I go, well, actually, wait, can I just ask him just to make sure he's free to come and we have a place to stay? He goes, yes, call him and then call me right back. I said, okay, cool. I call my friend Greg. I'm freaking out. I'm like, Showtime wants us to come to New York and da-da-da-da-da. He's like, okay, let me call my aunt and make sure we can come and we have a place to stay. So he calls his aunt. He calls me back and he says, yes, we are good. We can go to New York. So I call back Showtime and I say, hey, yes, we can come to New York. He goes, okay, do you have a pen and a paper? Take this information down. He gives me the dance studio in New York to go to. He gives me the time of rehearsal and the phone number for the studio in case we get lost. So he goes, I'll see you there Saturday, 8:00. I said, okay, cool. Thank you so much. And he's about to get off.
Did you know what you were rehearsing for yet?
Check this out. So we're about to get off the phone. Literally, we're about to get off the phone. And I said, hey, Showtime, just out of curiosity, like, what is this for? And he goes, oh, it's a video from Mariah Carey. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Thanks. No problem. And like trying to play it cool. Hang up the phone. I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, it's from Mariah Carey. So I call back Greg, my friend. I'm like, Greg, it's from Mariah Carey. We're going to go down. We're going to dance in Mariah Carey video. Da-da-da. He's freaking out. I'm freaking out. We take a 12-hour bus called the Greyhound. Yes. It's a Greyhound. Do you know what a Greyhound bus is?
Yes.
It's a big bus. So we take a 12-hour.
Cheapest way of transportation with the worst.
Yeah. Cheapest way to drive. We couldn't afford plane tickets. We were kids. We didn't have that kind of money. So we take a bus to New York. We get to New York, go to Greg's aunt's house, drop the stuff off, go to rehearsal. We get to rehearsal. I've already seen him on TV, so I know who he is. And we meet for the first time in New York in the dance studio with all these other dancers there. So we're rehearsing, but we're rehearsing to a Missy song. And I do hear Mariah Carey, but I hear Missy. So I'm like, okay, maybe they just want to make it up to this, like the choreography. So we rehearse for 2 days. The third day, we go to shoot the music video on Long Island. So we go to Long Island and we're upstairs in our change room. So we're in our change room and we're just chilling. The door opens up and all of a sudden we hear, yo, what's up, y'all? And it's Da Brat. Do you know who Da Brat is? You probably don't know.
You know who Da Brat is. I do.
She is. So before there was like Nicki Minaj and you know all these incredible like Doechii. There was
area of like MC Light.
Yes,
she was a little bit more tomboyish as opposed to Fox Soprano and Lil' Kim were a lot more feminine.
Yes, exactly. So female rapper comes in. We love her. So me and Greg are freaking out that she's there. So we're like, oh my gosh, Da Brat's here. The door closes maybe like an hour later. Door opens up again. This really tall guy comes in with 2 bodyguards. And he's like, yo, what's up? And guess who it is? It's Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg comes into our room. We're like, oh my God. Greg is elbowing me under the table. I'm like, I know. So Snoop Dogg is saying hi to some of the dancers. I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. We're like, oh my God. So we're freaking out. And then it comes time for us to shoot. So we go downstairs to the stage, the sound stage where we're going to shoot the music video. On our way down, guess who's coming up the stairs? Mariah Carey is coming up the stairs, looking beautiful as ever. I'm like, oh my goodness. She goes, hi, how are you? And I'm like, I'm fine. How are you? And she's like, I'm good. She goes, oh, wait, you guys are the guys from Canada. And we're like, yes. And she's like, oh my goodness. Well, thank you for being here for me. And we're like, no, thank you. So we're going down the stairs, freaking out. I have tears in my eyes. I'm about to cry because Mariah Carey just thanked us for coming. And we go up on stage. So we're rehearsing on the stage and this shorter person comes up and just stands right in the middle and is just like moving around. And we're rehearsing, and the person turns around and goes, "You guys ready to do this?" Guess who it is?
Missy?
It's Missy Elliott. Little Missy Elliott turns around and goes, "You guys ready to do this?" We're like, so Greg is already in this position, so I can't bump him and say like, "Oh my God, it's Missy." But we look at each other freaking out. Our eyes are just like.
So what song was this? That Missy, Mariah, Snoop Dogg? I don't remember a collab.
Yes. Okay. So Mariah Carey has a song called Heartbreaker. This is the Heartbreaker remix with Missy and DeBrat in it. And in the remix video, she gets married to Snoop Dogg. So just the wildest thing ever. So it all made sense. I'm like, okay, we're dancing to Missy's part because that's the section of the video we're doing. We're doing Missy's rap. And we're like, oh my goodness, this all makes sense now.
It never was disclosed to you during rehearsal?
No, nope. We were dancing to Missy. No one ever told us. Showtime didn't tell me. No one told us.
That's hilarious.
We found out Missy was in the video when we got on stage. And she turned around. We were like, oh my God, that's Missy Elliott.
Well, you're rehearsing to Missy's music, so
well, yeah, I didn't
like,
even.
Why are we dancing to Missy's?
Yeah, it didn't even click to me. I was just like, "Oh, this Missy part sounds really cool." All right, and the entire time we're doing it for Missy's rap in Mariah Carey's video. So
this was 97,
1997.
Fun fact: my husband used to tour with Mariah Carey. He did the Rainbow Tour. Was that right after?
This was before that.
It was before. Okay,
this was before that.
Wild. Now, was this so Showtime was choreographing? So Stretch wasn't involved yet.
Stretch wasn't. It was Stretch and Showtime that choreographed it.
Oh,
yes,
Stretch was okay.
Sorry, Stretch and a guy from Atlanta. I forget his name. Name, but he doesn't choreograph anymore.
Stretch used to choreograph a lot for Mariah back in the day.
A lot. Yeah.
And my husband was a part of his, what is it called? Elite Force.
Really? Your husband was a part of it?
Back in the day. He was an LA dancer, but he used to come back and forth to New York a lot. And he did Mariah Carey's tour. And that was the Rainbow Tour, amazing. Which was before I met him. This was before I met him. Met him in 2002. But anyways, I'm loving the story. But that was like a story.
Yeah. Isn't that so wild? So my friends on here, I want to say to you, the lesson from that story really
so many lessons.
Yeah. At least what worked for me is say yes and figure it out later. Yes. Just say yes and figure out
the rest. Say yes and figure out the rest.
And figure out the rest, literally. Because when Showtime said, "Hey, can you come to New York in like 2 days?" I didn't even flinch. I was like, yep, I can be there. I just said yes. I didn't know whose money I didn't have any money. I didn't know who I was staying with. I just said yes.
And you were so green because I would have been, if I was mentoring you then, I'd be like, how much you getting paid? Who's the artist? Who's choreographing? What are the logistics? Where are you shooting? And you're just like, I'm going to go to another country, another city. I don't know anybody or anything. I'm just going to be there.
I just did it. But that's how much I love dance. That's how much I loved it. Was that
it turned out to be a great project because
me too.
You never know what you could have walked into.
I know, and it ended up being one of the greatest sort of leaps of faith, we'll say.
Yeah.
It was one of the greatest leaps of faith that I've ever taken in my entire life. And
very bold. And the initiative that you took, I think the part that really sticks out to me is the initiative that you took to not just wait for somebody to give you an opportunity, but for you to seek out the opportunity and to make those connections. As Serena said in the chat, I always like to say contacts equals contracts. You made contact with Showtime and nurtured that for a year with no real expectations, it seems. And it turned out that created, a relationship that created the opportunity. And you didn't have an audition. Your audition was your demo reel on VHS.
Yes, that was it.
Those demo reels are dancers. At least you guys don't have to send out VHS anymore. You send out a link.
You just send a link. Yeah. And he didn't know who I was really. Like he just heard my voice and saw me on the video cassette.
That's awesome.
And he just took a shot. He just took a shot with me. And I've thanked him repeatedly over and over again. To this day, I tell him thank you.
Took a chance on you too, which is really cool. So
yeah.
did you end up moving eventually out to the U.S. or was it just for a few jobs? Like, how did you transition to the U.S.? Did you go through the whole work visa thing and O1 and all that fun stuff?
I did. So I moved to New York in 1999. So 2 years after.
Okay.
And I lived there for 2 years. I also lived in LA for like a half a year.
Okay.
And I did the whole O1 visa thing. I had like 3 O1 visas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like 3 years each?
3 years each.
So you did 9 years.
Actually, no, sorry. The first year was a year visa. They only gave me a year. Yes. And the other 2 were 3-year visas.
Okay, so you did 7 years. And did you ever apply for the green card, or did you say that was enough and I'm back into Canada after that?
Yeah. So long story short, I was in LA and I was living with Luther actually.
Okay.
And we lived together and I sort of ran out of money. I just I needed money. And so I didn't want to ask Luther for any favors. I didn't want to ask my parents for any favors. So I said to myself, okay, well, let me go back to Toronto. I'll teach for a bit. Like I'll just teach and then I'll go back. And came back to Toronto. I started teaching and my classes were getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I was like, you know what? Hey, I'm actually making money here. And there were some jobs here that Luther couldn't come down to do in Toronto anymore because one, they couldn't afford him. They didn't want to pay for his flight. They didn't want to pay for his hotel. And so I would get what was called, or what I would call like Luther leftovers. So any work that Luther couldn't get, they would just say, hey, well, can Mark do it? And so I used to choreograph and get Luther's stuff. He would just give it to me. He'd say, I can't make it for this artist. Can you do it? And so slowly but surely, I started to make a name for myself as a choreographer in Toronto. I would say I definitely procrastinated. I took my time. I got into a relationship. I was happy being around friends and family. I didn't really see the need to go back to LA and struggle. I was so happy being home that I let my visa run out.
Oh, wow.
At least like a good 2 years. Yeah, maybe 2 years or a year and a half of it.
Oh, wow.
And, because I was working in Toronto. So I figured,
great.
I'm fine. I'm good. And I'm
It's almost like you filled the shoes that left, because Luther was the choreographer when you were much younger. He left. And then there, as you said, there was nobody kind of to fill in the shoes, and you kind of stepped in.
I stepped in. And then that is when funny enough, that is when I met Paul Becker. Not too long after that, I met Paul. In
wild to me. All your stories are so our lives did this whole
I guess we must have missed each other every time.
Vancouver missed each other. LA missed each other. That's so wild. And of course, we've got all a million mutual friends. But that goes to show you how small the dance world is. Because as you keep mentioning names, I'm like, yeah, I know them. Yeah, I know them. But somehow I never met you in the process.
Isn't that wild?
That is so wild.
Okay, but here we are.
Let's take it forward, because I know there's so many nostalgic stories. But what have you been doing lately in the recent years? So you, at what point, what year was it when you finally decided I'm moving back to Toronto and planting my flag?
I moved back in 2007. So 2007.
So you really been in Toronto for
for quite a while.
I know we don't have a ton of time, but can you give us the latest projects, the latest things because I know you do conventions, you do a lot of teaching and choreography. Any fun projects that you worked on these days?
Let's see. Or these days. So I finished
recent years, maybe, because I feel like we totally skipped the mid 2000s.
The mid 2000s, all of it. We messed it all. That's okay. So last year I choreographed. So there's a big award show in Canada called the Juno Awards.
Mhm.
I would say it's almost like the equivalent of the Grammys in America. And I choreographed an artist. Her name is Akila. And that was sort of a bucket list thing for me. I've always wanted to choreograph an award show. I choreographed my first film, like my first film. This was last year, called Just One Kiss. This was in Vancouver. And okay, something that's happening now that's going to come out is, do you know a show called Running Point? It's a basketball, a show on Netflix. No, does that sound familiar at all?
No.
Okay, you know what? You're not alone, because I didn't know about it either. Do you know a choreographer named Tanisha Scott
Yes.
by any chance? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So I assisted her for a Sephora Netflix commercial, and it's based off of this TV show called Running Point. It should be coming out in about 2 weeks because they're going to do promo for the show.
Amazing.
Yeah, promo for Running Point. So we just wrapped that last week. So that was pretty exciting.
I mean, I feel like there's so many other stories that we didn't even touch on, but because of time, I want to give our Business of Dance mentees an opportunity to meet you and to also ask you a question. First, it looks like we have Savannah.
Hi, I'm Savannah Key. I'm 15 years old and I'm from Sarasota, Florida. And my question to you is what mistakes helped you grow the most?
Wow. What mistakes? Oh, there was a lot of them. I would say the thing that helped me grow the most, or one of the things that helped me grow the most would be to train in other styles. I didn't train as much in other styles as I wish I did. And I say that because when I got the opportunity to work with Paul, he introduced me to this TV and film world. And in the TV and film world, there's a lot of theater-based things. There's a lot of things that require jazz. There's a lot of things that required just more technical movement, which I didn't have. I'm just Mark the hip hop guy. Like, I just knew hip hop. And I really wish I had learned different forms and styles of dance so that way I could be prepared to do partner work, for example, ballroom if I needed to do it. And there were situations and times where I had to fake it till you make it. I had to literally fake it, or I would ask some of my dancer friends that knew how to do a certain style of dance technically better than I could. Hey, can you teach me how to do this, or show me how to, do this, a spin here, a spin there, what foot would I move on and how would I flex my foot this a certain way, but in my own way. So that to me was like a major thing, a major mistake for me, that I didn't take the time to learn other styles when I feel like there was time that I had that I could have put it to better use. I think that's just that's advice for everybody, really. If you think about it, train in other styles, learn from as many teachers as you can, be vulnerable in yourself and in how you look. I probably didn't learn other styles because I was so shy and I didn't want to look silly. I didn't want to look funny trying to do a pirouette. I didn't want to look funny trying to, learn a certain thing, a certain style, a certain move. But it set me back because of that, And that to me was I would say one of the things that when I look back at how I felt back then, and when I look back at all the other dancers doing these really cool styles and I couldn't do, that I really wish I hadn't have made the mistake of not learning other styles, So if you're young right now and you can learn other styles, soak it up, do it, Yeah, that would be my advice, sort of.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. Hopefully that answered your question.
That's a great
Yeah, it did. Thank you.
And a lot of street dancers that I speak to have that same regret. As my husband's one of them. He was also a self-taught street dancer as well. And he wished that he had more studio training and was better at picking up choreography freestyle any day, no problem. But sometimes you get thrown on jobs where they're like, okay, they hire you as a hip hop dancer and suddenly you guys are doing partner work. I mean, I was on one tour and we started to learn tango and none of us knew how to tango. And there was even a job that my husband did where they hired hip hop dancers. Paul Abdul was choreographing. I think Debbie Allen was involved. And then it was for some commercial. And then they said, oh, we changed direction. We're going to do ballet instead. So if you don't do ballet, please leave. We made the mistake of leaving. And then when they walked out, and then it turned out that commercial ended up being hip hop anyways.
Oh my gosh.
So versatility.
That just gives me.
So and a commercial, a union commercial, he walked out on because everyone was like, oh, all the street dancers walked out and the jazz, technical kids, they stayed, the ballet dancers stayed. But versatility, guys. It's great if you have a specialty. There's nothing wrong with being a ballroom dancer or a street dancer or a ballet dancer. But when this market and this day and age, the more styles the more tools in your toolbox, the more opportunities you'll have.
And the more auditions you can do.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, just from being in the room with really big choreographers that hire for film and TV, like Jamal Sims and Paul Becker, 9 times out of 10, you'll be, they're going to make sure you feel good, you feel safe. But then there's that odd time where they'll say, hey, okay, we need you to partner with this person, or we need you to do this. We're just going to do a 4 counts of 8 of this style. And if you don't want to be the one in there that looks, like the weakest one or the awkward one there, it's such a bad feeling. And I've been there before. So, and here's the thing, if you're already great at one thing, that should be your sign to say to yourself, okay, you know what? I can do this style. I'm good at it. What don't I know? Yeah. What don't I know? What else can I at least try? Do it. Because here's the thing. At the end of the day, nobody cares how you look in class. Nobody cares. They're busy trying to look at themselves and make sure they're good. Go in there, get the tools that you need to get. Learn, even if it's just the basics of stuff, even if you can get the basics so you can pull something off in an audition, 9 times out of 10 with auditions too, it's they're not really even looking for your skill. They maybe want a certain look. So if you have the look and you have sort of the basic understanding of a certain style, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be considered at least.
Thank you so much, Savannah, for your question. Next up, we have Miss Zoe. Introduce yourself and what is your question?
Hi, my name is Zoe Matters. I'm 16 years old and I'm from Prince Edward Island in Canada. And my question is, since you've had so many diverse experiences in your career, is there a job or a moment that changed how you approach and see dance, a turning point?
Ooh. A turning point for me, I would say, we'll start with the dancer. I guess a turning point for me in this industry, I would say, working with an artist named Sean Desmond. I don't know if you were familiar with Sean. He sort of opened the door for me in terms of touring, in terms of getting sort of a real hands-on touring experience of a country. I literally went from the East Coast, all the way from the East Coast to the West Coast, and went to every city in Canada on a tour bus, which for a Canadian dancer was pretty rare. Not a lot of Canadians get that opportunity. So that was a really big sort of turning point for me. It made me feel okay, if I can do this here in Canada, I need to really try and do this in the US on a bigger scale. Once you get bitten with the tour bug, you get tunnel vision. You're like, I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do this. And nothing will stop you. Nothing. No relationship, not even my parents, nobody stopped me from going. I wanted it so badly. And I got a chance to do it in the US as well. But that was a major turning point for me.
With Sean Desmond, you did a US Canadian tour?
No, actually, sorry. I did the tour in Canada with Sean. Okay. But when I came to the US, I worked for an artist named Mario. I got to tour the US with him There was a tour called the Scream Tour. And we went on a bus every city. I think we maybe just didn't do like Iowa and like Alaska. Like some of the like certain places, the tour just didn't go. I don't think it sold there. That was like my first real, or my second, I should say, my second major bus tour, which I really hope if everybody here wants to become like a dancer and a touring dancer, I really hope each one of you get that opportunity because it is incredible. It's so fun. It's so fun. And it's also tiring and it also gets boring. But at the end of it, you're like, wow, I can't believe I just did that. Like I went to every city and performed and it was amazing.
Sleeping in buses and the little bunk beds and
the little
not
tiny
even
bed.
knowing what city you're in, all the arenas start to look the same after a while.
Yeah, literally. It's like, but there's something that's fun about it.
The adrenaline rush of a live audience in a big arena. There's nothing like it.
Absolutely.
Biggest high as a dancer, I feel like.
It really is. It really is.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Zoe, for your question.
Thank you.
Next
Thank
up,
you,
we
Zoe.
have Miss Ava Watts. Introduce yourself. What is your question?
Hi, my name's Ava. I'm 16 and I'm from Dallas, Texas. And my question, I heard about you working on a series of unfortunate events. And I'm a huge fan of that show. And I was wondering like how you got to do that.
Okay. I'm also a big fan of the show too. So that show was choreographed by Paul Becker, same guy that took me under his wing for TV and film. The series of unfortunate events was shot in Vancouver, and the director, Barry Sonnenfeld, he directed the 3 Men in Blacks. But Paul got the job to do a series of unfortunate events, and he calls me and he says, hey, there's this new show coming out. It's called Series of Unfortunate Events, and they want us to come up with this count dance. And it was in the first season where it's called The Count. The director wanted us to make letters out of bodies. So we got a skeleton crew together and we had to sort of lay down on the ground, and we had pretended that the camera was up on these stairs, which it ends up being. And we make like a letter S with a couple of bodies. I can't remember what the word was, but we made an actual word of something. And it was all bodies just sort of lined up. And that was our first episode or our first dance musical number of Series of Unfortunate Events. And we had to shoot it as a previs. So a previs is like a pre-visualization. It's basically like a test. We'll call it like a test of what the cast is going to actually do. So Paul hires a skeleton crew, which is a test dancers. And he hired about like 4 or 5 of us. Although I assisted him with it, but I was one of the dancers. I played one of the dancers as well. And so the skeleton crew sort of tested or prevised this entire number, and we shot it on like a phone so the director can see it. And the director saw it and he's like, oh, that's really cool. And he got inspired to say like, I like the way you guys turn this letter into this, and maybe we can morph it into this, and maybe we'll have Neil Patrick Harris come up and do this. And so we started playing around with different things. And Neil Patrick Harris, first of all, he is a musical theater genius. And when I tell you this man is brilliant, just absolutely brilliant. He came into our rehearsal and just started improvising stuff and adding stuff. And it turned into just wonderful numbers every time we went into the studio with him. So that's pretty much how it started. And the director loved, it's The Count. And he was like, hey, let's continue to do all these different numbers. Every now and then you get lucky, right? And Paul got lucky that Barry Sonnenfeld was so open to sort of these quirky and weird ideas. And he just trusted us. He said, you know what? Play around, see what you can come up with. I want you to spell out this word sort of thing and just go for it. And he was just so open-minded to it. And yeah, he loved it and just like, was like, okay, I want to keep you guys on and we're going to continue to do more and more musical numbers. And we did I think it was was it 2 seasons or 3 seasons? We did the first 2 seasons, that's for sure. And I think there might've been 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did all 3 of them. I'm actually in one of them too, in one of the numbers. But yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much, Ava.
Well,
Yeah.
thank
Thank you, Ava. No, you're welcome.
All right, next up, we have Piper Eastwood.
Hi, my name is Piper Eastwood. I'm 10 years old and I live in Fairfax, Virginia. My question for you is, how did you gain confidence throughout your career?
All right. How did I gain confidence from my career? Wow. You know what? I surrounded myself with really good people. And that really helped me a lot, is having a good support system, having good people to help you. You can't do this on your own. As much as you want to think you can, you want to have people there to correct you if you make mistakes, not just dance-wise, but life-wise, just even regular life things. I was very fortunate to have really good people around me that supported me in my dance journey. And I would say that gave me a lot of confidence. The other thing that gave me confidence was knowing what I was capable of doing and what I wasn't capable of doing. I really leaned into the things that I was capable of doing, and the things that I know I couldn't do, I stayed away from. If I knew I couldn't do like a backflip, I wouldn't try to do it. I wouldn't try
to want to try for the first time.
Yeah. I wouldn't like just throw myself out there. But the things that I felt like, okay, you know what? I'm good at this style. I'm good at moving my body in this certain way. This, I think, fits me. I'm going to lean into that. I did that. And I feel like that helped me gain my confidence a little bit more. It helped me, I would say, dance with a little bit more, poise. I started to not be as shy because I was more confident in who I was as a dancer, because I was so sure that I was good at this thing. Those are, I would say, 2 things that really helped build my confidence.
Thank you so much, Piper.
Thank you.
All
Thank you,
Next
Piper.
up, we have Brooklyn Bell. Hi, I'm Brooklyn Bell Reese. I'm 16 and I'm from Georgia. And my question is how did your breakdancing background kind of help your career and like set you apart?
Okay. Hi, Brooklyn. Like my foundation in terms of breakdance, if that's what you mean, I didn't lean into that. It didn't really set me apart in any way, to be honest with you. I only did it as sort of a thing when I was younger, when I was like 10 years old. I maybe did it for like, I don't know, a year or maybe less. It was just sort of the thing to do back then, was to breakdance. Everybody loved breakdancing during that time period. But if you mean in terms of style, like hip hop style, how that's separated us from the rest. When I was with my dance group, Do Dat, Luther, who was our main choreographer, started to develop his own style. And I think he would get inspired from different artists and just different movement that was happening in that time period. And I'm talking about like, this is like late 90s, early 2000s. And we really, really tried to stick with a dance style of hip hop that didn't look so American, even though we were so highly influenced by Americans. We wanted to be American. We wanted to be in American music videos. We wanted to dance like Americans, but we had to really, really try our hardest to dance our own sort of way and our own sort of style. And one of the biggest examples of that was in LA. So we did a show called LA Carnival, the Choreographers Carnival. And in Choreographers Carnival, it was our first time coming as Do Dat to perform from Canada to America. So we get there and we're about to go on stage and we're like, oh my gosh, there's all these incredible American dancers that we've seen before on TV in the audience. They're here. And we went and we performed and we did it thinking they're not going to like us. We're just some Canadian kids. And we went and they ate it up. Let me tell you, the place went insane. And it sort of shocked us all. Like we found out that after that, there were groups in LA that were trying to learn the same sort of songs and choreograph the same, like Luther, down to almost buying the same outfits that we did for that show, which was a massive compliment to us. And so it was a time where we had to sort of find our style, and it worked. We, like, all the stuff that we did in Canada, all of our rehearsals that we did in Canada, in Toronto, we brought to LA and people loved it. They loved it. And that was us, I would say, separating ourselves and using our own sort of foundation to be our own group and have our own identity. We didn't really blend in or look like any of the American dancers that were there. And I think that's why they loved it so much, you know.
Awesome. Love that. Thank you so much, Brooklyn. Next up, we have Jola Ramos. Hi, I'm Jola Ramos. I saw that you went to Aruba. I'm from Bonaire. It's the island next to it. So yeah, I'm from the Caribbean and I would love to like work in America. I'm now in New York. And I just wanted to ask you if you have like tips and tricks for somebody who wants to get an O1 visa and to get on the tour bus and do all that.
Tips and tricks. Okay, so I would say, so here's the thing. Like back in my day, it was easier to get
different.
Visa. Yeah, it was a lot easier to get a visa. The first thing you're going to need to do is sort of get as much dance work as possible. It doesn't necessarily have to be paid work, although that is highly recommended. If you can get any kind of paid work, great. But you can always flip something to make it look like something. You know what I mean? What I would say to you is if you can perform at something, any kind of event, doesn't matter, even if it's a high school event, like it could be literally anything at all. There are ways to make that look like it's the biggest event of the year. So get as many performances under your belt as possible.
No, she's done a ton of professional work in the Netherlands and then also on cruises. So she's in her late 20s. So she's already been a professional dancer. She just, I think more importantly, not so much the credits that she needs is the petitioner and the deal memos.
Yes.
That's the hardest part, in my opinion, because the presentation of her materials are definitely standard professional, totally fine. That petitioner and those deal memos, that's, I think, the missing link with her.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Who was your petitioner? I'm curious. Maybe that'll give her some ideas.
Okay. I was going to tell you this. So my last visa, okay, I got two choreographers, Shonique and Lizette. I don't know if you know who they are.
Shonique. Yes.
Yes. So Shonique is a choreographer from LA, and she hired me to be her assistant. Well, I was her assistant, but she hired me to be her assistant for Monsters of Hip Hop. Do you know what Monsters of Hip Hop is?
Yeah. The convention. Yeah.
The convention, right. So on paper, it would say, I'm hiring Mark Samuels to be my assistant to go to all of these Monsters of Hip Hop conventions, and I'm going to pay him this amount of money, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to do all of these conventions, and we're going to have a calendar of stuff to do. And these are all the dates. So my advice to you is if you can work with a choreographer that can hire you as their assistant, and if that choreographer has their own registered business, then they can act as if they are hiring you as their employee. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I got my last O1 visa. I didn't even land a job. I wasn't working for an artist at the time. It was
someone who was willing to hire you, and whether or not you actually worked is another conversation.
Yes. Yeah. That's a whole other conversation. Although I did.
An immigration attorney will never tell you, but us dancers can tell you.
Can tell you. Yeah. Like I did assist Shonique on a couple of the Monsters of Hip-Hop.
Sure.
But the majority of them I didn't do. Like she just did on her own, but on paper it said I did.
Okay. Now, and I think what's key with you is that they actually had a schedule for Monsters of Hip-Hop, because that's one of the things they look for is proof of documentation that you actually have
a calendar of dates,
a calendar of confirmed dates of events or shows or something that they can prove. Because a choreographer that has no work lined up, they can't really support that with evidence. But a choreographer that's going to convince the tour schedule and can say that these are the tour schedules and all these cities I'm going to be teaching, and Joella is going to be assisting me for all these cities. Whether you do it or not is different. You may do one or two, just like Mark did, but they don't follow up with what you do after you get approved.
Right. So look for a choreographer.
Thank you very much. I will. So it goes back to that contacts equals contracts. You're right. I'm a lot of contracting now. That's why you got to get boots on the ground sometimes to even just come as a visitor, and which you're allowed to do. Come as a visitor to make those connections, to tell them your situation and tell them your story. And if somebody has an LLC, they have a company, that's kind of also key as well.
Yes.
Or if they have confirmed events or confirmed shows for something that they're working on, they could pull you under their wing. And if you can get multiple people, multiple deal memos, then it's even a stronger case as well. Yeah, I've been there, done that a few times myself, but also many years ago. It was 2000 actually. Yeah, 2000 when I got mine, a long time ago. Now I'm American. Now I don't have to deal with all that stuff.
And then you need like a bunch of reference letters.
Yes.
But you can chat GPT those.
And now ChatGPT those letters. We actually had
literally
to chat them.
Yeah, like we had to write them and make up like all these cool wording. Like you had to come up with all these cool things.
Extraordinary talent and phenomenal and amazing and outstanding. It was all about the adjectives.
Yes, it was so hard. But now you could just chat GPT a bunch of reference letters and then get somebody to
add your letterhead, sign here. Yeah.
Sign here, sort of thing. Yes.
So much easier now. Yeah. Love
Thank you
so much, Joella.
You're welcome.
Next up, we have Miss Megan. Introduce yourself. What is your question?
Hi, my name is Megan, and I am a hip hop dancer from Ottawa. And my question is, I guess, kind of similar to the previous one, but it's like when trying to break into, let's say, the Toronto scene for me, what is some like advice that you have to focus on first to break into that scene?
Okay. So what I think is in Toronto, the thing to do to sort of get yourself out here is go to class. Have you heard of a studio called Studio North?
Yes.
Yeah. So Studio North is like the it place to be. Go there. There's lots of incredible classes there, lots of great teachers. And if you can, I would suggest there's a group called Code Red by Jack Valaquette. I don't know if you know who Jack, do you know who Jack is?
Yes.
So Jack has this incredible group of, I would say, like 60 female dancers. They are absolutely phenomenal. And she runs a training program her training program is called Code Red. Mm-hmm. And you'll start off at a certain level and then you kind of build your way up. I've hired a lot of dancers from Code Red. So depending on what scene you want to be in, depending on what your goals are, I would start there. If you can't necessarily do the Code Red thing, financially it might be a lot. I'm not really sure what she charges for that. I would definitely say start off at Studio North. That's sort of the it place to take class, get yourself out there, try different styles. I'm not sure what style of dance you feel is one of your strongest, but go for it. Try it there and just see, and you're going to start to easily build sort of your own little small circle and community of dancers.
All right. We're going to move on to Francesca.
Hi, my name is Francesca. I'm 9 years old. And my question is, when you're watching dancers, what makes them stand out to you?
Okay. What makes them stand out to me? I think someone that feels confident and you can see it in their face. Someone that doesn't look at the floor the entire time and is really just like engaged and looks directly at me while they're dancing. That to me is something I look for. Another thing I look for isn't even dance related. I look for good energy. Someone that is a nice person. I want to work with really nice people that are friendly, people that are, that are polite, that have a gentleness to them, that bring like a lot of light into the room. I want my experience to be a fun one. I like working with people that give that energy, that have that sort of personality. You don't have to be like the most like, happy, bubbly person in the room. But if you're positive and you want to work hard and you also want to smile and joke and have a good time, I think those are the things that stand out for me, that I look for. I think most people that come to auditions are good dancers. I think they're good. I think most people will always get choreography. Most people will do the moves right. So I try to look beyond just the dance moves, because I'm sure everyone in here is an incredible dancer, and I would love to see you all dance one day. I know you're all amazing. But for me, I think it's who you are as a person. That's something that I look for, and how you treat other people. How you are and how you deal with other people in the room and how you conduct yourself. And are you a helpful person? Do you like helping? If there's a move that you can't get or understand, are you willing to help somebody, help them get it? I like people that help to get the job done. We're a team. So I like people to be team players.
Love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Francesca. All right. Last question is Charlie. Introduce yourself. What is your question?
Hi, I'm Charlie Welter. I'm 11 years old, and I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I know you have worked with Paul Becker, and I'm going to do an intensive with him in 1 week, and I want to know if there's any advice when I'm taking class.
Okay. That's awesome.
Met Mark. Tell him that.
Yeah. Tell him you met me. Your name is Charlie? I'm going to tell him about you, okay?
There you go.
So what Paul likes is someone that's not shy, someone that's like right in the front, just like how you spoke to me. You spoke with confidence. You're smiling. I love that. Paul loves that too. We like people that are confident in who they are and confident in themselves, really. So I would say that's something he really looks for. You don't have to be the best dancer in the room. And a lot of times it's not about that. As I said before, it's not about being the best dancer in the room. Sometimes it's just about being the best version of yourself that you can be. Be a good person. But those things, not being shy, smiling, asking questions, those are things that Paul 100% looks for. I look for that too, as a matter of fact. So yeah, I hope you have an amazing workshop with him.
Thank you.
You're
so much,
welcome.
Charlie.
You're so
And
welcome.
now you know. Now you can mention my name. You can mention Mark's name. You're going to walk in with some contacts already and a leg up. I'm telling you, those contacts equals contracts. Now you can leverage who you just met. The dance
you.
world is small. All right. Before we go, I know this was you took us all over the place today. Any final words of advice or any final words that you want to share before we wrap up?
Yes. You know what? I'm going to leave you with like a quote that I think to me is it's something that I've really been trying to practice. It's 3 things actually. So it's from a Tony Award winner. His name is Andre DeShields. And he calls them the 3 cardinal rules for longevity and success. Okay. And these 3 things to me, if you apply them to your life, I think you're going to find the success you're looking for, and you're going to find the longevity and the length of the career that you want. So I strongly suggest write these down, okay? Because they're great. So the first one is surround yourself with people whose eyes light up when they see you coming. I'll say that again. Surround yourself with people whose eyes light up when they see you coming. Okay? The second is slowly is the fastest way to get to where you want to be. Slowly is the fastest way to get to where you want to be. And the last one, the top of one mountain is the bottom of the next. So keep climbing. Okay. The top of one mountain is the bottom of the next mountain. So keep climbing. I think those 3 things have helped me in my recent years, to just, surround myself with people that, when they see me, they're like, Mark, and they just give you, when you see people and friends, you have friends that you see, and when they see you, they just get so hype and excited that you're there. Find those, that's your tribe. Those are your people. Find them, stick with them, stay with them. Whether they're in the dance world or out the dance world, they're your people. Stay with them. They're going to lift you up all the time. The second one, slowly is the fastest way to get to where you want to be. Slowly. Take your time. You guys are all young. You're young and you have so much time ahead of you. Take your time. You only sometimes get one time to do something right. So take your time to get it right, and you're going to get there. You're going to eventually get there. Like it took me forever to choreograph for the Juno Awards. I did it for the first time last year, 2025. And I'm not young. So it was definitely a slow progression to get there, right? But I got there. And then, the top of one mountain is the bottom of the next. So once you feel like you've gotten somewhere and you're at the top and you feel good about it, maybe you finish something.
Set the next goal. Set that next goal and keep playing.
Yes. Yeah. The next one is right there for you, It's the bottom of the next mountain, So just keep on going, keep pushing, keep climbing that mountain, and you'll reach the top again.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, on behalf of the Business of Dance, we want to thank you for all your wisdom and your stories and for being so kind and generous. Thank you again, Mark. Thank you, dancers. Signing off.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Welcome. You're welcome.
And that concludes another episode of the Business of Dance podcast.
We hope you found today's conversation insightful and gained valuable knowledge.
Be sure to join us next time for more inspiring interviews with top professionals in the dance industry.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to The Business of Dance on your favorite platform and take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback is greatly appreciated.
This podcast is brought to you by the Business of Dance online mentorship program to help aspiring professional dancers create their dream dance careers.
Thank you for listening. Until next time.